We're back here on the John Fourcade Show, and one of our John Fourcade specials this week, a 2015 Ford Focus, just $179 per month. I'm in. Come on down to Veterans Ford. 2015 Ford Focus, $179 per month. Come on, man. Come on down to Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. Mike Detillier along with John Fourcade. And John, special week this week, Senior Bowl week, a lot of things going on. Right down the road in Mobile, Alabama is the hub of the NFL. Who would have ever thought, you know, when you were playing, I mean, Senior Bowl was a big thing, but, you know, you had so many other postseason all-star games, the Hula Bowl, East-West Shrine, even the national game that was in Japan at that point was being played. But now Mobile is the hub of everything, and they got a host of Louisiana guys playing in this football game, and a lot of them making a quick impact. We're going to see the list here. Vidal Alexander from LSU, right off the top, big offensive guard. He played guard in the NFL. Jeff Driscoll, who has struggled a little bit in Mobile from Louisiana Tech, but he was a record-setting quarterback there. Kenneth Dixon, who I've talked about all season long, terrific running back there. Debo Jones, who's getting a lot of publicity there because of the fact he can cover as a linebacker. Harlan Mill, outstanding cover cornerback from southeastern Louisiana. Jalen Mills, who is playing free safety, but they even working him a little bit at the cornerback position. Ed Egan, late arrival. I got a call from Wyatt Harris from Sonic Boom. He called me last night, said that Ed's a late entry to it and will practice Thursday. And so Ed Egan, who has all the records at Northwestern State as a wide receiver's in, and the most impressive guy, I think, of that group, Vernon Butler, the big defensive tackle from Louisiana Tech. John, we've done spotlight focuses on Vernon Butler, a big 6'4", 310-pound guy. Man, the man upstairs didn't make that many people that big, that fast, that can rush the quarterback and also play the run well. And I think he's a guy on the cusp of being that late first, early second round pick.
Well, Mike, first, I just got back from Senior Bowl. I was over there early in the week when they first showed up, and everybody did their weigh-ins and their height and their measurements. And, you know, meet and greet, it's like a herd of cattle coming through there. You know how that works. I've been through it. I know what they go through, but you're right, Mobile, Alabama, a great spot to have it where everybody can come in and get to see these players. And it's all about being a senior to get invited to this. And, you know, you get invited to it. And like you said, there was other bowl games in the past, a lot of them no longer existing, and just everybody's eyes are on this. And all the NFL scouts are there, all the NFL coaches there, management, everything. And there's
if you're
some
looking
players
for a job, that's the place to be.
And I'll say this, when I saw the list of the quarterbacks that were on those lists of players who are participating in, folks, you're finding out when you look at this game here, you look at these are all high-end quality quarterbacks at top of the top in college football. And Mike, you hit the nail on the head. There's some Louisiana kids there right now who are going to, either stock's going to rise or stock's going to fall. But I believe with some of these guys, especially the Butler guy, you were right about this, Louisiana Tech guy, he could be a guy that can sneak off the board. Somebody's going to find out who this young man is, snatch him up, take him. Maybe it's a spot where the Saints look at it down the road there. We shall see. But that's where you want to be right now if you're a senior, and hoping you get an opportunity to be seen, because you will be seen by all of the NFL.
You know, one of the things, too, is we brought up a little bit about Debo Jones from LSU, not even 220 pounds, but he's kind of the new age linebacker or kind of hybrid player in the NFL. You want somebody that can cover a tight end or a running back coming out the backfield. You see linebackers and safeties today, they got no clue about how to cover anybody. And Debo is a guy athletically. We all saw how good of an athlete he was at Jesuit, what he's done the last couple of years at LSU. He was kind of rated the last of the linebackers brought in on that LSU recruiting class. Debo's a guy also that I think has moved up his draft stock because the game's changed. It's a pro pass league today. You got to have people that can match up in the defensive side of the football. And I think Debo Jones, along with Jalen Mills, who's also a good cover guy, being a former cornerback, those guys have really helped themselves because of their ability to cover at both safety and at linebacker.
Well, Mike, it also goes to show you where they played football at, too. You played at LSU, you played in the SEC, but you've played for colleges that win and produce quality players. I mean, just look at the players that LSU has sent out to the NFL, so people are going to look at that. You're right about Jones. If he can cover You know, the tight ends nowadays, or move out to the slot position and cover tight ends from that spot. That's going to be a big plus for him. Not sure about his rushing the passer for the outside. It might be a little light in the trousers, but I think if he can cover, he's in with no problem. And Mills, another guy there. I've always liked Mills. Mills kind of guy can play center field and range around, or go in the corner if you have to. Maybe even play the position of a slot receiver guy if it's in a combination of 5 DBs, 6 DBs in a game. He's a very versatile secondary player for you, and that's a plus for him.
I think when you're watching the Senior Bowl, the one guy you hope for to have a big game and offseason is Carson Wentz. Talked to him so many times before on this show from North Dakota State, because he's a guy that could be a top 10 pick. And so every offensive player that gets picked before the Saints pick at 12 helps you. It shoves you a defensive player that you might not have thought. I think the wild card here early on is Carson Wentz, because of the fact that he could be a top 10 pick. The best defensive lineman in that class in Mobile today is Jerron Reed. And what makes him so good? We all saw him at Alabama, and he's kind of overshadowed a little bit. John, he can play defensive end, defensive tackle, nose guard. And how many guys can play those 3 positions and play them real well? I think Jerron Reed, of all the defensive linemen, he's got the most to gain, because right now he's a 20s pick. He can move himself up into the teens. But Carson Wentz, I think, is the one big domino that the Saints would like to have go in the top 10, because it'll shove you a defensive player.
Well, we sit here and say that, Mike, and that's what we think the Saints should go after. But they have done some strange draft picking over the last 5 or 6 seasons. If they got defensive guys lined up on the board at 12, 13, wherever they're picking and whatever they decide to pick, if somebody don't try to make trades above them, that could hinder their picking. But they have got to go for a pass rusher, or no worse off than a cornerback. But they got to have a pass rusher. And if they got guys on the board, Saints, you got to snatch one.
You know, and it's a really good group of defensive linemen, and we'll touch on that right after this break here on the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.